that brings us to our last statement, because one of the teams tied, they're just right outside of the ladder, is the Gold Coast Suns. The Gold Coast Suns that just got arguably the biggest win of the entire club's history up to this point. Donnie, let's go. Let's circle the bandwagons. Join me full time and go ahead and agree with the statement, because the Gold Coast Suns are making the finals this year.
Oh boy, that is a call among calls, and again,
I tweeted it, so it's essentially in stone.
I don't know about stone, but we'll definitely have to look at this. So let's just go through it. It is hard not to argue that they have a ton of momentum. They're still a full game back of Richmond, so that's the only thing that concerns me a little bit. But here's their run home. Okay, they got Essendon this week again. Do we take Essendon with a grain of salt of their win over Brisbane or not? It really kind of depends. Then they get the Q clash with Brisbane. So that's another tough game there at the Gabba. The West Coast Eagles, which this is not the West Coast Eagles of earlier in the year. I think this is a West Coast Eagles team that's playing well. Thankfully, this is at Metricon, so I will give them probably a tick there. And then Hawthorn, Geelong, and the good old North Melbourne Roos to end the season in round 23. I'm circling that North game because I'm going to sit here and say this right now. I'm going to pull back just really quickly from my filters here, because what I want to see is this. I'm going to go to round 23, okay? Because can Gold Coast make it? Here are the matchups just for round 23 as we speak. Brisbane Lions face Melbourne. Carlton faces Collingwood. Essendon faces Richmond. Dockers face Giants. Swans play St Kilda, and the showdown between Adelaide and Port Adelaide. So if you really look at it, Geelong versus West Coast is the other game. Looking at this here, okay, Sydney's down there with St Kilda. St Kilda's but I think St Kilda with their schedule, I think is be very interesting. The biggest game I think that'll really kind of depend on whether Gold Coast makes is the Essendon Richmond game. Is massive. Because Essendon could play huge spoiler in this, and Carlton and Collingwood, the old rivals, could beat each other, and who knows where Melbourne and Brisbane will be at that time period. I'm very bullish on this Suns team. I really am, because I think they've got all this positive momentum. Stewie Dew is confident. They've got a ton of confidence. You know what? I don't think this is an overreaction. I think the Suns can make the final. Legitimately, yes. The Suns can make the finals.
Yes.
Here's why. Richmond's injuries and their schedule has become much more difficult over these last few rounds than I think they were expecting. Especially this Gold Coast loss, which I think a lot of people would have chalked that up to 4 points a few weeks ago. So Richmond, they're not being handed a lot of easy games after that, because they get North Melbourne this week. I'm going to discuss this game a little bit, because this is a game I've dog-eared, because this one, if I'm a Richmond supporter, is scary, because new coach bounce back, several injuries. Keep an eye on this one. We'll discuss this a little bit more. Doesn't get any easier. You got to play Fremantle, Brisbane, Port Adelaide in 3 consecutive rounds before ending the year with Hawthorn and Essendon.
Yeah, I think the thing with Gold Coast here is that
looking at this, I potentially could see Richmond losing all 3 of those games before those final 2. They may be outside the finals, and Gold Coast or Port may be in. So I don't think this is an overreaction. I think Gold Coast has a really good shot of making the finals, because the teams around them have very difficult schedules, and they have a lot of winnable games. They have a couple of difficult games, but they've got a lot more winnable games, almost guaranteed winnable games, than some of the teams around them do.
You know what's really kind of crazy is that if you take at least in my opinion, I don't think it's a crazy statement to say that Gold Coast has the ability to finish off the season 5-1, with one loss being to Geelong, because really the only team that really sticks off like really jumps off the sheet here is going to be the Brisbane Lions, but they've been having some injury issues recently. They've been having some list issues recently, just general performance issues as well. So Gold Coast is no longer outclassed by the Brisbane Lions. I would not be saying that about 6 rounds ago, but I am able to say that now. They're only genuinely outclassed by the Geelong Cats, so I could see a Gold Coast going 4-2. Or maybe a 5-1 as well. In Richmond over here, there's a chance that they can end the season on a 3-3 in the 2 or a 2-4 record. Donnie.
And the other thing too with the Geelong game is that's round 22. By then, Geelong may have already solidified themselves a final spot. So and being at Metricon Stadium, don't rule them out either, because Geelong may be smart, instead of putting them into that tropical climate up there, is saving a few superstars, because you still have round 23 at the end of the year. So it'll depend. How does Chris Scott handle it? It also kind of will depend on where's Geelong sitting when it comes to top 4. They're going to want one of those top 2 spots, because then they technically, again, host, air quotes for those listening to the AirPod, major air quotes in that one, host a game in the finals, a potential qualifying to get to the preliminary final at home. So there's still some things to play there for, but potentially you could be sitting into that game with a Geelong team that may come up to Metricon and not want to risk injury, knowing they've still got round 23 to solidify whatever they need. So with that preseason, with that pre-finals bye, it does kind of change. I think it changes round 22 more than round 23, because you may see a round 22 resting to be sure that they're solely ready for that 23, even with a bye week the next week. It'll be fascinating to see. But yeah, I don't think it's an overreaction. I think Gold Coast has a legitimate shot to make finals.
All I'm saying is that Gold Coast is going to finish out the season 6-0 and dance their way into, 7th place on the ladder. And it's going to happen. You guys might as well book it. Put all your money on it. Just kidding. Please don't do that. I will not be held accountable for anyone stupid enough to fully listen to me like that. But one thing you can listen to me with is that Gold Coast is going to make the finals. Go ahead and book it.